It's quite unsafe for a woman to live in this world. The crimes against them are increasing day by day. They depend on and truly believe the cops to save their lives. But what if the same cops become the predator? Do you think there are perverts in the police department? Are they more dangerous than the criminals? On number 3, we have Braulio Gonzalez.
On the wrong side of the law, accused of a despicable crime.
This veteran officer allegedly fondled a little girl, and that child is no stranger to him.
Braulio was a resident of Miami, Dade, and was a veteran police lieutenant. The heinous act took place in 2018 when he kidnapped and molested a child. The survivor was a child who was related to him. He took advantage of their family relations and molested the girl since she turned 8 years old. He continuously abused her for 2 years. At last, the survivor spoke out, and the real fact of Braulio was revealed. When the survivor was just 8 years old, Gonzalez took his gun and pointed it at her. She was then made to comply with his conditions, and then he kept on molesting her till her parents came back home. He threatened her several times after that to make sure she doesn't utter a word to her parents. The poor child was traumatized and she lived in fear till 2018. When the case was taken to court, it was revealed that Braulio used to take the girl to his home as well and made her strip down all her clothes before him. He then touched her private parts forcefully. Her screams were silenced by that television's volume, and she was mentally broken by this heinous act of this pervert officer. As the case continued in the court, another child came forward, speaking out about what Braulio did to her as well. She survived the perverted act of this veteran officer. He used to creep her out by watching her shower. She was only 9 years old at that time. Braulio showed aggression towards women in general. He attacked 3 of his ex-girlfriends. They all suffered severe physical injury. He used to hit them repeatedly and broke the nose of one of his ex-girlfriends. They all came forward after hearing about the case where he molested a minor. They were all happy that finally the world got to see the real face of Braulio. The acts of Braulio did not suit that of a police officer. He has to treat people with respect and make sure that they are living life safely. But instead, his predator behavior was shown to the minors. He targeted them and molested them for years. He held a 9-year-old girl at gunpoint and molested her brutally. When the decision of the court was declared, everyone was beyond shocked. They never expected Braulio to walk free. Well, he was not fully free, but the court ordered a house arrest that too paid leave from his job. The court turned a blind eye to his wrongdoing. He was overjoyed as he thought that he escaped the prison, but fate had another plan. After a long legal battle, Braulio got the punishment he deserved. He was sentenced to jail. He would serve life in prison. Braulio never expected to receive such a punishment. He thought that he could evade the law of the country and take advantage of many other children. None of his plans worked, and you can see the aggression and disappointment on his face. The prosecution lawyer Natalie Cinder called Braulio a dangerous person, and the world agrees with her. He could hurt a lot of girls if he roamed around freely with the power of a police officer. Braulio never apologized to the survivors. He had no remorse, and he stood there in court being proud of his deeds. He was given several opportunities to apologize, but he refused every single one of them. He didn't want to show that he regrets it. On number 2, we have the Timothy Sadler Jr. Polk County Police Department received a call from a mother of a 9-year-old to file a complaint regarding the inappropriate photos she found in her daughter's phone. The mother was beyond shocked when she found nude photos of a man in her 9-year-old child's phone. She wanted to file a complaint as soon as possible and find out the sender. The Polk County Department didn't have to spend time investigating, as they soon realized that the criminal they were looking for was one of them, but an officer of another department. They couldn't believe that such a person was working for the state to ensure safety. Well, he was not in his right mind and forced a 9-year-old to send her nude photos. What kind of police officer would say such a thing? Sadler met the child on an interactive online game platform. The Wolf was the game they played, and Sankey talked to her in the name of Jade, an 11-year-old kid. The poor child didn't realize the trap she was setting foot on. Sadler planned to get nude photos from her and threaten her to meet with him for a sexual encounter. He made a detailed plan step by step, and he just needed to work it out. He created multiple accounts and names to talk with the child and earn her trust. Apart from Jade, Sadler created a profile pretending to be a 31-year-old Jason. He talked to the child, introducing him as a close friend of Jade's father. The child believed him as Jay confirmed that it was her dad's close friend. The child didn't know that behind the screen, it was Sadler who talked to her and not Jade or Jason. Both these people were creations of Sadler, and they didn't exist in real life. Sadler slowly started grooming the girl. He talked through the account of Jade and told the girl that she has a sexual relationship with Jason and it's fun. The girl was uncomfortable at first, but believed the 11-year-old Jade. He started sending pornographic images to the girl from the account of Jason and started talking to get in a sexually explicit way. He thought that she would soon fall into the trap and meet up with him. The 9-year-old survivor started sending her nude photos, and Sadler was happy to see her falling prey to him. He stored all the images to use against her in the future. During this time, he was going to his office and acting as a good police officer. No one suspected him and everyone believed him to be this ideal man. They were all unaware of what he does behind his bedroom walls. The 9-year-old child's older sister found out about the sexually explicit texts and pornographic images Sadler sent her. She informed her mother. She called the police immediately. Sadler was arrested and fired from his job immediately. On number 1, we have Trevor Smith. Trevor Smith was working in the Washington State Patrol. He fell for the sting operation and was caught red-handed. In 2022, Trevor was looking for new prey. That's when he met a mother of 2 who was ready to go into an agreement with Trevor for him to have sex with her 2 children, who were only 6 and 11 years old. Trevor was so happy as he thought he would get 2 children to sleep with that too, with their mother's consent. The undercover female officer, who pretended to be the woman selling her kids, realized that Trevor was a pedophile. The Seattle Police Department wanted to catch pedophiles, and they made the undercover police officer place an ad. Trevor was interested in it and contacted the mother without knowing that it was a sting operation. During the conversation, the undercover police officer asked what he would give her in exchange for abusing her 2 children, to which Trevor replied that she could sexually abuse his 9-month-old son. The police department was shocked to read the text, as they can imagine all Trevor would have exchanged for his son. He was unfit to be a father and shows no mercy to his child. Trevor showed up in a hotel room and the undercover police arranged for him as he thought he would sexually abuse 2 children. He even came to the room with contraceptives, which shows that he was prepared to sexually attack 6 and 11-year-old children. Trevor was fired from his job and was sentenced to 10 years in prison, after which he would be released, but he will be under the supervision of the police for 15 years. Do you think this kind of police officer should be declared unfit for service? Should they be punished brutally? Let us know in the comments.